If you had to choose the best butt in the movie, would it be Scarlett Johansson, Gwyneth Paltrow, or Chris Evans?
Oh, Chris Evans by a mile.
Right?
Yeah. Scarlett, however, is, I mean, that catsuit is something else. She's gorgeous, though, Scarlett, and she's so good in this movie. She's like, she kicks ass, and she trained and trained and trained and trained, and she just was amazing. She was like the primary athlete, you know. The guys, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth are kind of born that way. They're like, just to have them, they're sort of genetically modified, and but Scarlett was really, because she plays, you know, a woman with a high skill set. You know, Thor's got, he's the god of the thunder, and Captain America can jump around and do crazy things, and that's all special effects, but Scarlett's really doing her own stuff. She was doing Muay Thai and kickboxing, and there were some very violent moments in Crimson Peak, and we all knew, in order for the film to have balance, that the sexuality had to be present as well. And when it came to the scene between myself and Mia, which is a very, the whole story hinges on that scene and everything changes after it, we knew that we wanted it to be from the woman's point of view, that it wasn't some male fantasy. Well, you know, Gothic romance it's about sexuality. It has to be sexy. And there is a love scene in the film. Then Guillermo was like, dude, it's time to get naked, man. You have to show the world your buns. And it was, I was happy to do it. And we discussed it often in these situations. The woman is more naked than the man, and we thought we would just redress the balance.
The recipient of this award has been acting for twice, if not 3 times as long as I have, and has achieved about 5 times as much. She was once, famously, a childhood student of witchcraft and wizardry. She was once associated with various wallflowers, even though her dancing skills give the lie to that. But this year, she has truly emerged as a bright and shining star in her own right. Shakespeare said that some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. This woman, certainly from a very young age, had greatness thrust upon her. She may indeed have been born great, but this year she has definitively achieved greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, the Woman of the Year is Emma Watson.
What an amazing speech. I really owe you one. Thank you. Well, given the perceived perilousness of the journey from child star to adult performer, any award with the word woman in the title is frankly a bit of a relief, and I'm very, very grateful.
Are you very cold? Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you want my jacket?
This performance coming up right now.
I'll wear my jacket for a bit.
Oh my God, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I love you, Tom Hiddleston.
It suits you, actually.
Yeah, you think I can walk the red carpet with it?
Yeah, I do.
And we have to mention about Natalie Portman giving you a punch in the face.
That was from New York.
She said it was good.
She did.
Are you gonna get any revenge?
No, no way. That would be so unfair, I think. You know, Natalie she's a really amazing and very, very funny person to be around. And I loved working with her on this. And that particular scene was so funny because she was actually being very careful not to hit me. And to the extent where it didn't look like she was hitting me at all because she was being too gentle. So the fight director had to say, listen, Natalie, Tom's a big guy, he can take it. And then he would also tell me, because I've been making the sound effect with I've been going, which is a ridiculous thing to do. And so he told me not to make the sound effect, and then on the last take she connected, and it made us both laugh.
But it did touch you, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, because she got me clean on the jaw. Natalie Portman has a neat right hook. Let it be known.
Amazing, right?
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for being here. It's a wonderful pleasure to have you. bonne projection. À bientôt.
Yeah. Okay. Ready? It's very
You're the
tall.
man, dude.
Too tall.
Can I give it a hug? You can. Oh, thank you.
Just right up top.
Hi, my name's Jennifer. I'm from Cleveland, and I hope your time in Cleveland was good.
I had the best time in Cleveland, yeah.
Wonderful. You have a lot of fans there.
Thank you.
I just have to say this because I have the opportunity to say it. Neil. Thank you so much.
Tilda is amazing. I don't know any actress in the world who can compare with her. She is such a unique woman. The most exciting thing really is she's so full of surprises, and she's not what people think she is, I think. I mean, she's just so warm and so fun and witty, and she is an impeccable dancer, and was very pleased to dance with her as I do in this film.
I'm completely drawn into her style. Oh, well, hello. Hi. Welcome. How are you?
Lorraine.
Oh,
Tamara?
You have a really good memory.
Well, we've met before.
We have. So are you getting into any mischief yet?
Now?
Yes.
Not specifically, unless you include, like, hiding behind you just then.
Oh, okay. Well, then fairly tame thus far. Yes.
Yes,
I don't know. We could take us as...
Now, working with Rachel, were you two speaking the same language of cinema? Was that something you had to work hard to get to the same place?
Actually, no, not at all. It was the first time I met Rachel. We were holding hands from day one. So I mean, I think she's a fantastically brave actress, and direct, and she's fearless. She's unafraid of reaching to the extreme of her emotional range in a scene, and revealing herself, revealing, things that don't belong to her at all, and I loved working with her. I really did. I thought she was wonderful.
Even though there are big changes from the novel, for example, when you first came on, both of you, was Angela Burr still Leonard because she's a man in the novel?
Yes. Yeah.
And at what point did Leonard become Angela, and how did that change the dynamic?
It was Susanna's idea.
No, it was my idea.
It wasn't?
When on my first conversation with Stephen Garrett, they had said that
one of the producers.
Part of the exercise here with the script was transfer it from '93, where the novel was written, to present time. And part of what is luckily happening in present time is that our world is actually slightly more diverse than, and even the world of spies are more diverse than being kind of controlled by white men having gone to public schools. And so it seemed like a very good, obvious choice to make Burr a woman. And then Olivia Colman was my one and only choice.
And she happened to be pregnant at the time.
Yes, yeah. She told me on our first meeting that she was pregnant, and I thought it's fantastic for the part, and I'm sure that insurance companies are going to have a bit of an issue. But their issue wasn't forceful enough for us to not go through with it.
Mm-hmm. And how did that change the dynamic for you, dealing with the handler who was a pregnant woman rather than a middle-aged white man?
Oh God, I mean, honestly, Susanna told me quite early on, and it was an idea I loved. And from that moment, I never questioned it. Strangely enough, I never, until this very moment, I've not conceived of what it would have been like with a man. I think it works beautifully, and to your point, what Le Carré said about that relationship was really touching, because he came to a meeting after our first read-through, and that was he led with that first note, because it's quite, they're sort of, Pine to some extent is an employee of Burr, and Burr is pulling the strings, and then Pine's a real boy, to use a Pinocchio analogy. He starts making his own decisions, and it was quite. Their exchanges were quite curt and heated, and this note from the carrier that it was much more gentle, that relationship between them was very gentle, very compassionate, very understanding, that the agent runner has such a deep empathy for the stress of the field agent, that those conversations were always almost parental or familial. And I think our very first day's shooting was the scene in the restaurant at the end of episode 1 between myself and Olivia, and from that moment we were absolutely connected. She's a pleasure to work with, so warm and so humane, and so and she's such a deeply good person. It was great.
And the Emmy goes to Susanna Bier for The Night Manager.
This is the first Emmy win and second nomination for Susanna Bier. She's also nominated this year for producing The Night Manager.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm gonna forget everyone. Thank you, the Academy.
How excited are you about tonight? Are you looking forward to winning?
Oh, stop.
Come on.
I'm up against the greatest actors in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah. Javier Bardem, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Marion Cotillard.
None of them are here.
Okay.
I want to see you take the stage.
Okay, take the stage.
Take it.
Like Loki.
Yeah.
Everybody to kneel.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, good. You guys are great, by the way.
Thank you. Gosh, this man is perfection in every way. I mean, I love him. Okay. Bye. He made such intense eye contact. I love that man.
So, guys, you're all part of the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
You are superheroes, supervillains. You know, what is that like? Incredible
Surreal and wonderful and unexpected, and yeah, just kind of crazy to look around all of us, and there's Spider-Man, there's Iron Man, there's Loki.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing.
It is a bit.
I mean, I don't feel like my character is a superhero. She's a super weirdo, so I have fun with it, you know?
And unlike tonight, you got to flirt with Brie Larson, which is a nice job, right?
Well, we don't really flirt with each other.
You kind of held hands once, didn't you?
I don't think so. We were actually quite keen that there shouldn't be there's a chemistry of mutual respect. Brie's wonderful. She's an absolutely phenomenal actress with such natural intelligence, and she was very keen, as I was, that the two characters should be independent and have a kind of a mutually respectful energy. They sort of see the world in the same way.
You and I have talked about, because of the number of times you've been here, expanding roles for women. Are you finding that? Because you seem to be doing a variety of kinds of things, at least.
Yeah,
I'm not expanding, at least more diversified.
Yeah, I'm really lucky in that I have been given the opportunity to play characters that are very different, and perhaps that's because in 2011 I had 7 movies come out that the characters were so different. So perhaps that's allowed that in my career. But I will say, as an audience member, you know, I want to see more complete characters for women, and not so many stereotypes. The great thing about this film is there's 2 incredible female roles.
Well, I'm told that Guillermo allowed you to pick one or the other. Is that true?
You know, Guillermo's that.
Does he say that?
Yeah. Well,
and you never knew that, or
no? I think he thought I was going to respond to Edith
because it was more what?
I don't know. Maybe he saw it as more similar to me. I mean, that's usually where casting comes from, is you think of like, ooh, okay, who is similar to this character? Maybe he thinks it was my personality, or I don't know. And then when I read it, I really wanted to challenge myself and do something I had never done. And I'm glad I did, because actually Mia is so much better than I would have been in that role. And I got to like...
Well, would you have liked to have played the other role?
I mean, I think they're both such great roles. I think, you know, when I read the script, I was just so excited that there were these two really fantastic characters that were females. And I think Guillermo is, you know, his two daughters, and he's so in love with his wife. And I think in all of his films, he imbues the women characters with so much strength and
complexity.
And he never waters it down, and he never minimizes it. And that's quite rare for, you know, a male director.
I think that's what's really, I mean, if he were here, I think I speak for him in this regard. But he, you know, I align myself with him in this regard. I think he's done an extraordinary thing with this film, which is that the male characters, myself included, they're all quite ineffectual.
Ineffectual?
They are ineffectual. They are they try to do things and they don't succeed. And the women on my left and right, you know,
they're stronger and more.
Well, it's a film about women. It really is. It's a film where the heroine is not saved by the tall dark stranger, the Byronic hero. The heroine saves herself. And I think that's really profound and probably all too rare.
And how did you come to that in your own head?
To the film?
Yeah. To the character.
Oh, to the character. I think I mean, it kind of changed a little bit as we were filming, as it always does. But
Does it always?
I think so. I mean, it's the same thing about, you know, trying on the costumes. It's the sort of thing where you can, like, do so much preparation and then things just inevitably influence you
has an influence
when you're
on the
there.
thing.
Yeah, whether it's the set and the other actors, and, you know, it inevitably changes. So yeah, it changed a little bit as we went on, but I just found Guillermo's, he was just always so on it in terms of never letting us be, or, you know, never letting me be too passive.
Where were you born?
In Canberra, in Australia.
Yeah. And how did you make your way to film?
Super lowbrow in comparison to these two
drama
drama students. I started being interested in film when I was 15, and then did like a Google search for agencies and joined a child acting agency when I was a teenager, and then...
And never stopped, never looked back.
Yeah, no, it's been good.
There's something I've found since I graduated from drama school, is that they can't train you in the truth. And Mia's, I think Mia's genuinely one of the most natural actresses I've ever worked with. Guillermo and I used to joke she's incapable of not telling the truth. So.
She's incapable of inauthenticity. Yeah.
Yeah. So never mind all that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was lowbrow.
Thank you for coming. It's great to have you here.